Good morning, citizens. It is Thursday morning, and I have something disgusting to show you. So, a few days ago, my kids and a friend made some homemade Play-Doh or dough, and if I remember correctly, the ask was for the materials or the ingredients for them were flour, vegetable oil, and food coloring, and I guess some water, maybe. And as a kid, I knew that you could make sort of your homemade Play-Doh using flour, salt, and oil. So I don't know why there wasn't any salt for this particular recipe. And it's stuff that they find on YouTube. Who goes to YouTube these days? Anyways, so, oh, if I mentioned food coloring, but, so there's food coloring, flour, oil, and we don't keep vegetable oil in the house. So the alternative was to use a little bit of olive oil instead, and I don't know if that made a difference because this Play-Doh turned out spectacular. Let me show you and how spectacular, and then as I describe how spectacular it is. We are now looking in the garbage bin, and those are the two zippy bags of the homemade Play-Doh and food coloring. Pretty disgusting, right? So we've had them for several days, sitting on the counter, and this morning I noticed that they seem to be bubbly. See bubbles? So I know you're wondering, like, wow, thanks for showing me your garbage, Rue, but that's not what I want to see, but I want to show you. So I poked at it, kind of like this, right, on the kitchen counter, and it's sealed fairly tight. It's not leaking or anything, but as I walked away, the stench emanated from it. It smelled like really serious vomit. So, it's now in the garbage. Never thought, I mean, we've made homemade Play-Doh before, and never has it smelled so disgusting. So the only thing I can think of that was different was the lack of salt and the olive oil. The olive oil, somehow, maybe using crappy oil makes homemade Play-Doh better, or maybe just that bit of salt helps keep it from I don't know what the heck it's doing, fermenting or something. It's just rotting. Ugh. So you're welcome. There you are, my precious. I'm back, and I am working with finicky earbuds and microphone. I find that the audio for the video turns out really well when I have one of these bad boys on, although I can't hear well with the speakers. When I do the playback, I think the microphone works despite all that. Flawless. At any rate, let's just roll with it. I just picked up this bad boy, Grande Pike with a splash of heavy cream as usual. And before that, I dropped off the girl, my baby girl. Not so much a baby anymore, but she'll always be my baby, at the preschool. And so I went over to the Starbucks. This is my neighborhood Starbucks. I really like it here. The folks have known me, and now it looks like they're going through a whole cycle of new staff training and whatnot. So that's always a challenge when I have to order my drinks with new staff because they don't know what heavy cream is. But they'll quickly learn. I will help them through. And the veteran staff, teaches them, that's Rue. He has his coffee with heavy cream. He often gets a grande or a grande. So I walk into the Starbucks, and there's a little bit of a line, so I figure, why don't I use the restroom and, take care of myself. And there, I just need to pee. Pee. So the men's room is locked, so I kind of stand patiently. If it's an emergency, I'll hop into the ladies' room, which is not a big deal, when it's not occupied too. So it wasn't an emergency, so I kind of stood by the door. And between the two restroom doors is a newspaper rack, so I was reading the Wall Street Journal front page, one of the columns, which I ordinarily don't do because I don't try to pay attention to the important news of the world, which is these days questionable whether or not it really is important. But it's content that they publish, like, you know, good content creators do. They just want to put stuff out there. So the men's room clears out, and there's an old guy who kind of slowly opens the door, and he kind of whispers to me. He says, "There isn't any more toilet paper in there." Right? So I tell him, "Okay, thank you. I won't use any. I won't need any." So he holds the door open for me. I gain control of the said open door. He leaves. I enter, and I'm disgusted because, you know, the place is just disgusting. More disgusting than I've ever known it to be, because this is, like I mentioned, my regular Starbucks. How's it disgusting? Yeah, the floor is sticky. There's one of those plastic tents that inform people that the floor is wet, which it wasn't wet. It maybe at one point had been wet, but it no longer was wet. It was just sticky, and it stank of old bathroom stench. So I don't know what the heck happened. I don't know if the bathroom exploded at some point and then dried up. At any rate, so I'm like, forget this, left, and I made my way to the women's restroom. And as I entered the women's restroom, another gentleman made his way into the men's restroom. And I'm a cool guy. What I did was, there are 2 brand new toilet paper rolls in the ladies' room that are kind of secure in some sort of dispenser, but there was one free roll. So I quickly grabbed the free roll, and I got the guy's attention who was entering the men's room, and I just without saying anything, handed him a roll of toilet paper, which is something you ordinarily don't do on a Thursday morning or any other morning. And he had just gotten on the phone while he entered that men's room as I handed him a roll of toilet paper. I handed it to him, and he asked if I needed it. I'm like, no, I'm fine, thank you. Then I took care of my business in the women's room, and which was much more cleaner. Smelled actually kind of pleasant. I'm not sure what was going on in there. And got my coffee, and here I am telling you the whole story because you need to know. I gotta get my coffee consumed, and I gotta pick up some more family members and take care of stuff this morning. Check you later. Vegetable.
Is vegetable a flavor?
Sure. It's a food.
What flavor? What flavor is it?
There's vegetables and fruit in here. If you want some, you can try some.
This was a Coffee with Heavy Cream production. See you next time!